sets have been popular for a long time, but they're not just for kids. A lot of adults collect trains. The only problem is there's a lot of track laying around the house, and if you have company coming over, or maybe you're through playing with the train, you have to pick all that track up. So today, we're going to be putting the train track up on the wall. Now, you've probably seen this a lot in stores and even in restaurants. What about your house? This is a very fun project, so let's get started. The first thing that we want to do is take some measurements for our corner shelf. Now this is where our train is going to make its turn right here in the corner, so we want our shelves to be sturdy. We're going to take some brackets and mount them to the wall, and the best place to mount them is in a stud. So let me just see if I can find that again. Okay, there it is right there. And I need to find one over here. Okay, good. Now what I need to do is take some measurements so I'll know how wide to make my shelf, and that's 24 inches there, 24 inches there. All right, I've got all the measurements now for my corner shelves. Hey, Roger.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going great. This is Roger, and he's a train enthusiast, so he's real excited that we're putting this in his house. You want to help me?
All right.
Okay, why don't you help me take some measurements?
Okay, I see your mark here.
All right. We're taking measurements for our wall shelf, and this is going to connect to our corner shelves. This is 65. Roger, you want to write this down?
Okay. 65 inches.
Right. Wall shelf.
What was the corner shelf?
Oh, the corner shelves were 24 by 24.
Okay. 24 by 24.
Right. Roger, we got our measurements. Let's go get some lumber. And what we want to work on first is our corner shelves. Now these are the shelves that the train will actually make its turn in the corners. So let me go ahead and mark this. What's our first 24 inches?
24 inches on both sides.
Drop my pencil. Okay, so I'll mark that right there at 24. Now this side is already 24 inches, so I need to mark where the next shelf is going to come off.
And it's 5.5 inches wide.
Let me mark that right there. I'm going to use a square just to give myself a straight line. Here, you want to get that one? Now the reason that I marked this at 5.5 inches is because this piece right here fits in the corner, and then this runs down the wall, and that next shelf will run off of this piece right here. Now what we want to do is determine the radius for our track. So the easiest way to do this, we can take this track and set it right on our 5.5 inch marks that we made. Now Roger, if you'll hold that for me, all I have to do now is just trace around this track, and this will show us exactly where we need to cut this shelf out. Just like that. All right, one more cut. And cut this side right here. And there you go, there's our corner shelf. Roger, let's just go ahead and slide this one back down. And what we can do, since we have 3 more corner shelves to cut, is just use this first one as a template. So let me just line this up there, and then just trace around this, and we're good to go. All right, now that we have our 4 corner shelves cut, we're ready to work on the wall shelves. Roger, what's our measurement on those again?
See, we need 2 at 82 and 2 at 65. Okay. Let's cut the 82 first.
Start there. You got that? Put a mark here, and again I'll use my square just to give myself a straight line. Okay. We can use the saber saw again for the rest of our cut. Excuse me there, Roger. Now that we have all of our shelving cut out, we're going to go ahead and paint this out here in the garage to avoid any mess on the inside. And we've already pre-painted our brackets. So while we let this dry, in the meantime, we'll go back into the house and hang up the brackets. We need to put a wall shelf above this window so that our train can run on this wall. So let me take a measurement from the top of the window to the crown molding. That's 7.5 inches. Now our wall shelves are 3/4 inch thick, so if we deduct the 3/4 from our measurement, that gives us 6 3/4 inches. Okay. Roger, if you'll mark this corner for us, we can get going on this. Okay, now if you'll use the level, Roger's going to come down to our 6 3/4 inch mark and then draw us a straight line across, and that's where the top of our shelf is going to be. We're ready to hang our brackets, so what we need to do is measure down from this line, which is going to be the top of our shelf, remember, down 3/4 of an inch because that's how thick our shelf is. But I need to add that 3/4 of an inch to this measurement, which is 1.5 inches. This is where my screw is going to be right there. So that puts me at 2¼ inches. So let me just mark that right there, 2¼ inches. Okay, now I can put my screw in. Now you'll notice that I left this sticking out 1/4 inch. Let me show you how this bracket hangs. This slides down over the screw just like that, and that's how it hangs from the wall. Let me go ahead and line that up. Okay, push this bracket down and then give it a couple of taps down like that, and that tightens the bracket in place. Okay, now that our corner brackets are in place, we can hang this corner shelf, and we've attached an L bracket to the top of the shelf, and that's going to keep the back of the shelf from falling down. Okay, you got that up there? You want to make sure it's level before you screw that in? And Roger's screwing that bracket into the stud so it'll hold our shelf securely in place. Alright, now we're putting our track on the shelf, and I'm using a 1/2 inch screw to attach this. And this just goes right through the track here. Screw that in. Okay, now we can set this up on the brackets. What I want to do up here is put this side on first, just like that, and then down here I have to lift this corner shelf up so I can line these up together, and I can set them down in place. I need to use a screw now to screw this into the bracket. Roger, this looks really nice. What we're doing is we're adding a piece of trim around our shelves, and that's to cover up the unfinished edge. Now we could just paint this, but we also want to cover up our seams where our two boards meet. So we'll just put this trim on here. That's going to give it a really nice finished look.
Let me put a nail right in here, Teresa, and then we'll work down towards your end.
Okay, I'll hold this.
You straight?
Yeah. Okay, and we're using finishing nails to attach this. I'm just going right here in the center. Okay, Roger, our transformers are hooked up and our trains are in place. Let's see how they work.
I want to go first.
Okay, be my guest.
Mine's working great.
They both are. This is really cool. Now Roger can come in here and enjoy his train set anytime he wants. We spent $250 on our project, and it took us most of the day. Also, it was handy having an extra pair of hands. If you would like more information on this project or others, contact us on the internet at michaelholligan.com.